He seemed unbeatable. Had Ferrari fallen asleep on the job?
Mika Häkkinen wins the British Grand Prix. Coulthard's race is over. This is the race that could decide this year's World Championship.
McLaren are back on the pace. Can Häkkinen rescue Coulthard? Or at home, can the Schumachers be back in pole position? German Grand Prix, tomorrow, ITV.
Two films to look forward to tonight. RoboCop 2's in 15 minutes, then later at 12:45 it's back in the USSR. But now on Anglia, the news.
3 children die after a car plunges into a lake. Beacon's sheep are culled as Wales asks how many more. And in football, champion Celtic are off to a winning start.
From ITN, the ITV Weekend News with Andrea Catherwood.
Good evening. 2 brothers aged 6 and 5 and their 3-year-old sister drowned today when the car they were in plunged into a lake, trapping them underwater. The children were submerged for more than 40 minutes before emergency crews got them out. Doctors then spent 4 hours in vain trying to resuscitate them. The children's parents who escaped from the car are tonight being treated for shock. From the scene, Damon Green reports.
This is the car which plunged into a boating lake and trapped 3 small children underwater for over an hour. Emergency crews worked frantically to retrieve them from the former gravel pit at Arlesey in Bedfordshire, but tonight, after several hours struggling to revive them, they were finally given up as lost.
The 3 children who had been brought in, who were involved in the accident, and despite attempts at resuscitating them, have died. There was unfortunately not anything that we could do to improve their situation, although they got full care that was possible.
It's thought the family, a mother and father and their 3 children, 2 boys aged 6 and 5 and a 3-year-old girl, were taking a day trip to the lake, a popular local bathing spot. It appears their car drove off the steep bank into the water. Police are trying to help the children's parents come to terms with what's happened.
Clearly the parents are actually undergoing medical treatment because they are in a state of shock. Our role then, as well as actually trying to, at the right time, establish from them what actually happened, is also through our family liaison officers to be supporting them and trying to shore them up and help them in any way that we can.
As the family's car was winched out of the water, investigators say they're treating the crash as a tragic accident. Damon Green, ITN.
Welsh officials trying to prevent renewed spread of foot and mouth disease have tonight completed the slaughter of 4,000 sheep on the Brecon Beacons. Despite the mass cull, it's feared more slaughter may be needed. A policy campaigners have branded obscene and unnecessary. John Ray reports.
They were herded down from their hillsides for slaughter. The cull of 4,000 sheep continued late into the afternoon. The killing itself was hidden from public view under the cover of hastily constructed tents and pens. Tonight, bloodlines going back generations, animals unique to the area have been lost forever.
People that have been involved with these sheep for generations, the whole thing has been wiped out. 4,000 sheep today. I mean, it's quite devastating. I mean, these are not just their animals. I mean, it's almost part of their family. I mean, I've seen farmers actually breaking down, grown men breaking down. It really has hit them.
Many fear the slaughter will be extended next week as tests continue on a further 6,000 sheep.
What's your reaction to the cull at the moment?
Obscene. I think it's totally unnecessary. If you left those sheep on the hills isolated, no cattle near them, some of them would get it, they'd get over it and build up an immunity.
The government insists without the cull the disease could spread further, but experts warn there's still the risk of fresh outbreaks, not just in Wales, but in other foot and mouth hotspots in the coming weeks and even months. John Ray, ITN.
Scientists monitoring the eruption of Mount Etna say they're worried about a new crack which has opened up in the volcano. Vast clouds of ash and debris are still spouting from the crater, forcing the closure of a nearby airport. Tourists arriving in Sicily are now being told to stay away from Mount Etna completely. Forecasters are predicting even hotter weather tomorrow after much of Britain enjoyed a day of soaring temperatures. The warmest spot was Heathrow Airport, which reached a sweltering 32 Celsius. Thousands headed for the coast, causing massive traffic jams. Here's Juliette Bremner.
It was as hot in Hastings as it was in Honolulu, and no one wanted to waste the last few rays as the sun set this evening. Across the country, sunseekers basked in the tropical temperatures.
It's lovely out here. We've come down for the weekend and we can't believe the weather. It's normally wet and horrible and blowy, and it's beautiful, really lovely.
The hot spell caught many booked on summer holiday flights out of Britain by surprise, although passengers at Manchester Airport refused to be too downhearted.
It is a bit of a shame, isn't it? But never mind. You can't help it, can you? It's the English weather.
But getting to the British coast came at a high price. Traffic heading to Devon and Cornwall on the M5 tailed back for a miserable 35 miles. Those who made it, though, can expect more clear skies for their troubles.
It's going to last in the south for a good few days yet. It's going to stay very, very warm. But the further north you are across northern England and Scotland, it's more changeable, I think, over the next few days. But still lots of fine weather.
Despite these reassurances, many people seem unwilling to pack up this evening and head for home. Perhaps wary of the traffic jams, or maybe unwilling, after just one day, to put their trust in the British weather. Juliette Bremner, ITN, Hastings.
Well, now sport. The Scottish football season kicked off today. The champions Celtic started with a win this evening. They beat St Johnstone 3-0 at Parkhead with 2 goals from midfielder Paul Lambert. Felicity Barr reports.
While all the talk has been of Celtic possibly joining the English Premiership, tonight the focus was the defence of their Scottish title. And they enjoyed a perfect start to the campaign against St Johnstone. Sweden's Johan Jalaby with the honour of scoring the first goal of the new season. Manager Martin O'Neill's already a Celtic legend after leading them to 3 trophies in his first season. But he and his team are hungry for more. And despite St Johnstone's desperate attempts to get back into the match, the home team doubled their lead when Henrik Larsson set up Paul Lambert. And the midfielder then found plenty of space to unleash a stunning strike and seal a convincing victory. It may have been a short summer break, but Celtic are obviously happy to be back at work. Final score: Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. Felicity Barr, ITN Sport.
Well, Celtic's old firm rivals Rangers also got their season off to a good start. They beat Aberdeen 3-0. Elsewhere, Dundee United drew with Dundee. Dunfermline thrashed Motherwell 5-2. Hibs drew 2-2 with Kilmarnock, and Livingston beat Hearts 2-1. On to motor racing. The championship hopes of Britain's David Coulthard took another blow today when he qualified in just 5th place for tomorrow's German Grand Prix. Instead, it was the Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya, in only his first season of Formula One racing, who grabbed pole position. Well, that's it from me and all the Weekend News team. Have a very good night. Goodbye.
Gas, electricity and telephone.
Hello, good evening. Well, today was the warmest day of the year so far for some parts of the south, and that's a record that'll stand until, well, probably tomorrow. It's going to be even warmer in parts of the south tomorrow. The northwest today had a patch of cloud, a little bit of drizzly rain across parts of Scotland too. Elsewhere, there was lots of sunshine. It did turn rather hazy with high cloud in the afternoon, but we did see temperatures into the high 20s, even up to 30, the odd 31 reported late this afternoon. Tomorrow, probably just as warm in the south. Now, overnight tonight, that patch of cloud in the northwest, which is a weak weather front, is going to come a little further south with some spots of rain and drizzle, mostly on western coasts and hills. A warm and rather sticky night, uncomfortably warm for some in the south, I think, with just a few mist patches. And then tomorrow, that weak weather front comes a little further south across northern England in towards North Wales later. The band of cloud by that time getting thinner all the time, so sunny spells coming through, and certainly plenty of sunshine on either side of that weather front. So it will be another very, very warm day in the south. Temperatures, as I say, up around 30 again for many people. It's cooler and fresher and far more pleasant in the northwest. You'll have some sunshine there as well. Good night.
Powergen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
Care to escape with us on a trip around the world? Or boogie to the sounds of summers gone by? Or how about forgetting your troubles and take a look at GMTV moments we'd like to forget? Celebrate summer with GMTV all next week.
Staying dry tonight with clear skies and some mist and fog patches forming towards dawn, and mild with overnight lows up at 14 or 15 degrees. Early mists are soon clear tomorrow to leave a fine dry start with light winds and some really good spells of sunshine. And little change later. The afternoon should bring almost unbroken sunshine in most parts, especially towards the west. And hot again with inland highs soaring to 28 or 29 degrees, 84 Fahrenheit.
He seemed unbeatable. Had Ferrari fallen asleep on the job?
Mika Häkkinen wins the British Grand Prix. Coulthard's race is over. This is the race that could decide this year's World Championship.
McLaren are back on the pace. Can Häkkinen rescue Coulthard? Or at home, can the Schumachers be back in pole position? German Grand Prix, tomorrow, ITV.